Offensive Player of the Week with 358 yards and 5 touchdowns last week in a big win. So look for a great contrast of styles. But hey, let's see what happens.
Sioux Falls, London is an interesting game coming up on the SFL's Twitch channel. The Sparrows trying to get their second in a row. London stands in their way.
Yeah, both of these teams, Cam, have been struggling defensively, and I think both of them would rather pride themselves in that. But Sioux Falls right now is giving up 27 points a game and over 400 yards a game. London is struggling as well on defense, giving up 24 points a game and 359 yards per game. So which defense is going to show up and make enough stops to win this game today?
We will find out as SFL football gets underway after this commercial break. This has been SFL Pregame Live, and the SFL on For the Fans continues next.
Eleven Sports and For the Fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
It's time for a Sunday duel in the desert live from Phoenix, Arizona. It's time to kick off your Sunday slate of Simulation Football League action as one of the league's top offenses in the Arizona Scorpions takes on the league's best defense in the Fort Worth Toros. Live inside Scorpion Stadium here in Phoenix, Arizona. My name is Michael Chirillo. Welcome along for the ride. With me is Benji Matson. Gerald Smith is on stats. Benji, it's the unstoppable force against an immovable object. Who comes out on top today?
Michael, it's a pleasure to be with you in the booth this afternoon for this one. We have got a good game on deck. I am sure of it. The Fort Worth Toros are on fire coming into this game today. 5-1. Coming into the weekend, the top team in the SFL. They've made it this far with a hard-charging run game and some excellent defense. We'll touch more on that as this game goes along, but they are on the road facing a 3-3 Scorpions team, but a dangerous Arizona Scorpion teams led by Ashley Jackson at quarterback. They are a high-octane, high-explosive offense that could give Fort Worth and this defense a spot of trouble today. We'll see how it unfolds, but I'm sure of one thing. It's going to be an awesome game today. Looking forward to it.
Coin toss is in the air. Toros in their road gold uniforms, trim in white. The Scorpions are going to be in all black this afternoon. The mid-season honors, if you want to call it that, were released this morning, and players from both of these teams all over it, capped by Stephen Hacker and Nacho Sicario being named co-coaches of the year. Fort Worth won the toss, chose to defer, and now they will get the ball first. So kicker Larry Barr has the ball on the tees, hands in the air. It's game on from Fatality Field here in Phoenix, Arizona. And for your football Sunday, thank you so much for joining us. And they'll start at the 21-yard line after that return by Cade Stevens. Here is the Offensive Rookie of the Year so far at the halfway point, Cameron Curtis in at quarterback for Fort Worth. They've got a powerful running game as well. Jason Williams and Chris Komasak in the backfield. Wide receivers are Cade Stevens, Stephen Hacker, Robert Garrett Jr. and Lauren Percoco are the tight ends. And they'll go right to left against the four-man front. Here's Jason Williams, falls forward for 5 yards. The defense try to stop him on the Arizona side. D.D. Sachs and Mark Mello are the defensive ends. At defensive tackle, you have Alex Constantine and Max Knight. B.J. Lovelace and Joey Tropicana, the starting linebackers. Iverson Gamble, Everett Garrison, and Parker Thomas in the corners. And the safeties, Bernard Smith and the legend, Eddie Gage. Second down and 5. For the first time, passing over the middle is Cameron Curtis. He's got a simple pitch and catch to his favorite target, tight end Robert Garrett Jr. for a first down.
Robert Garrett Jr. picks up that conversion for the quick first down for the Toros. He does lead the team in receptions coming into the season. That would be number 31 on the season for the Cowboy, Robert Garrett Jr.
Another handoff to Williams, slides his way through for a nice gain of 4. Williams second in the league in average yards per carry at running back, averaging 5.5 yards every time he touches the football. And for a man who has 129 carries on the season, that's pretty impressive.
Absolutely, and we're going to call his name a lot today. They call him Thrilliams, and we might see why today. They've been leaning on him an awful lot on the offensive side of the ball.
Offset eye, strong side left. And a rifle over the middle, and the ball is knocked away from Robert Garrett Jr. Bernard Smith, the rookie, bats it away, and it's 3rd and 6.
Yeah, Bernard Smith is the Scorpions' first-round pick in the draft this offseason. He had a great game last week, brought in 2 interceptions. So he's really holding things down there in the back end and that defensive secondary, having a great rookie season.
This Scorpions team pulls in a lot of receptions, but they've only got 3 on the season. And over the middle and knocked away. There's Joey Tropicana batting that ball down. So after a promising start, Fort Worth forced to punt. Excuse me, they had 3 interceptions last game. They have 11 on the season.
Yeah, the secondary is definitely opportunistic, and on that play, we also saw the defensive front get some pressure on Cameron Curtis, forced a quick pass. We'll be talking about that defensive front as the game wears on today as well.
Punt is on the way. And returned up to the 31-yard line. And so we get a look at the dynamic Arizona Scorpions offense, averaging 31 points per game. Second in the league. They're led by quarterback Ashley Jackson, running back DJ Moses, wide receivers Donnie Hands, James Hands, and Jacob McCall. And the tight end is TJ Punk. They wear the orange helmets, black uniforms, white numbers with orange trim. Jackson back to pass, floats it in the flat to Moses. Got a blocker and some room to run, and will get 11 yards and a first down out to the 41-yard line.
Scorpions have an explosive offense for sure, and DJ Moses getting the first touch of the game for the Scorpions, receiving that pass out of the backfield. It's an underrated part of his game this season. We know he's a talented back across the board. I think if the Scorpions are going to make this game interesting today against the Toros, we're going to see a lot of DJ Moses, I think, and that's a good indication of him receiving that first touch of the game.
Split backs, pressure showed, and Jackson, I think, wanted to hand the ball off, didn't get it to the running back because she was on the ground already. That'll go down as a sack by Joey Schwintz. Make that his first sack of the season. Here's the defensive lineup for the Toros. I'll get to that after this 2nd down and 12. 3 receivers split out to the left. Ashley Jackson is going to go down again. 2nd sack in a row for the Toros. This time it's Catherine Horrell. And now I'll get you through the Toros defense. Joey Schwintz, Gary Marks, and Catherine Horrell start on the defensive line. Linebackers David Horrell, J.L. Browning, and E.K. Vincent. Adam Leach, Aiden Davis, and Nacho Sicario are the corners. Safeties Blake Prine, Ben Stone, and Delaney Nash. Now on 3rd and 14. Jackson's going to have to air it out. She does, and it's knocked away by David Horrell. And so both teams trade a first down, then 3 straight dead plays to punt to open up the ball game.
This Fort Worth Toros defense means business. They're number 1 in the league for a reason. Right off the bat, putting some pressure on Ashley Jackson, sacking her on 2nd down, and it was a running play. So we see right off the bat the Toros going to be enforcing their will as they can today on the Scorpions with this defensive side of the ball. Very talented group. They are really having their way so far during this first half of the SFL season.
And they've had their way with basically everybody, holding teams to just over 10 points per game. And they haven't given up more than 20 this season. They're on pace to set the record if they can keep it up through the last 5 games of the season.
Yeah, this stat that we're looking at right now on the screen is incredible. 10.7 points per game. We're only through the halfway point of season 16, but look at those numbers across the board. We're talking potentially one of the all-time best defenses in SFL history if the Toros keep up this pace.
Still a long way to go, and I'm sure the Arizona Scorpions might have some things to say about that before the day is done. Here's Cameron Curtis to the outside and incomplete, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. The team's strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. As the throw out to Robert Garrett Jr., he's tackled from behind for a gain of 6 yards. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. So now a 3rd down again facing Fort Worth. It's going to be Curtis, and the ball batted right at the line of scrimmage. And it will be another turnover.
Great play by defensive end Dee Sachs. Having a fantastic season for the Scorpions there. Gets his big mid up in the air, knocks that ball down for a pass defense. That one goes down in the record books for the day, but he's going to be putting a lot of pressure on Cameron Curtis today. Fantastic play by Dee Sachs.
This is his first pass defense of the season, and teams trading punts here early. We were talking before the game, Benji, as a fair catch is called. We were talking before the game how this one might turn into a shootout. And I said, well, if that happens, Fort Worth is going to be in a world of trouble. So far, both defenses have stepped up.
Yeah, very true. You'd think I was crazy to come in with that take like that this is going to be a shootout when the Toros have a historically great defense. We'll see how this one unfolds, but you're right. Early on, both these teams are kind of just feeling each other out on the ropes.
Zona going for the throat, 5 wide on 1st down. Jackson gonna air it out, and it's caught 1v1 on the outside into Toro's territory. Fantastic catch that time. Couldn't quite see who made the catch out there, but they're gonna go hurry-up offense. But wait, where's the quarterback? Ashley Jackson is going to saunter up to the line. And now she's going to try take off and run on a design run and lose 4 yards.
They were able
Joey
to find.
Schwint got back there.
Yeah, sorry about that, Michael. They were able to find James Hands on that first catch previously.
Now going downfield again, and it's picked off. This time the Toros are able to read that 5-wide set, and it is intercepted on the back end by Delaney Nash.
Big D, Delaney Nash. Strong safety, brings in his second interception of the season. And unfortunately for the Scorpions, this is going to be something we touch on today with Ashley Jackson at quarterback. Turnovers have been the Achilles heel for this high-powered offense. And here we see right off the bat the first interception of the game by the Scorpions, and the Toros offense is back on the field.
In stark contrast to their competitors, the Toros going very conservative here. Jason Williams pounding forward for 2 yards. That is the 19th interception on the season thrown by Ashley Jackson. And that is she is in the bottom 4 of the SFL. Currently ranked 22 in interceptions, and that's not a stat you want, especially when your team is scoring 30 points a game and winning every game in a shootout. Another handoff, this time to the fullback, Chris Komasak, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. We'll go 3rd and 7.
Yeah, these interceptions that the Scorpions throw on offense does put a lot of pressure on the defense, but the defense for the Scorpions has been playing still really well this season. They know how to take the ball away in their own right, too. So I think that throughout the season so far, the Scorpions have been able to support the offense, who have been plagued by interceptions.
The rookie quarterback goes deep, and it's in and out of the outstretched hand of Robert Garrett Jr. as he was laid out on the turf at about the 50-yard line.
Yeah, the Cowboy couldn't quite lasso that one in. But you see early on here, Robert Garrett Jr. is a favorite target of Cameron Curtis for good reason. He's an awesome, tall target at that tight end position, one of 2 tight ends standing 6'7" for the Toros. Robert Garrett Jr. excellent tight end in his 4th season. Again, we mentioned coming into the game today, leading catch receiver for the Toros and one of Cameron Curtis's favorite targets, looking for the Cowboy across the middle right there.
That's the second pass interruption after it already reached the hand of a receiver by Bernard Smith. He's been a great disruptor out there at free safety today. Punt on the way, taking it about the 35-yard line and up to the 40. Jacob McCall returning kicks for the Scorpions.
So once again, we see that Scorpions defense playing well, forcing the Toros off the field in that quick series there. So they get the ball back this time almost at midfield. So Scorpions have excellent field position. We'll see what happens with Ashley Jackson, whether she's under center, run the hurry up here. We'll see what they try and do with their philosophy on this drive.
They've thrown a couple of different looks at the Toros so far, and equal to it are Fort Worth. But that time the play action works to perfection, and Jacob McCall grabs a pass over the middle into Fort Worth territory.
Yeah, that's a beautiful play. A strike from Ashley A.J. Striker Jackson. Finds Jacob McCall across the middle. The third receiver on this team, Jacob McCall, is a short, speedy one. He's 5'11", 185 in his 3rd season in the league. He is number 3 on the depth chart here for the Scorpions, but Ashley Jackson is able to get everyone on this team involved, and Jacob McCall has had a few great games this season. When he's been called upon, he can make plays. He's done it in the past, and he could be called on today to make big plays for the Scorpions.
5 wide again, and this time Jackson runs, and this time it works a lot better. That designed run out of the 5 wide set in the shotgun. She picks up 5 yards. Not a lot of teams in the SFL, Benji, utilize the running quarterback. I know Sabaj Synergy, who's the DC quarterback, ran a little bit back when he was with Dallas. And then, of course, I'll finish my thought after this play. Jackson into the flat. And room to run down the left-hand sideline and close to the red zone now go the Scorpions. And the end of my thought was, of course, Julian Tyree, who has a couple of rushing touchdowns from his quarterback spot up in Sioux Falls.
It's definitely an element of the game that defenses have to prepare for, especially more this season in the SFL than they have recently in the past. And it's just an added dimension that you have to be accounting for on the field as a defense. And in that situation, Ashley Jackson able to make a positive 5-yard gain on that play.
High snap. Jackson corrals it, throws it underneath for a nice gain of 8 into the red zone down to the 15.
Yeah, Scorpions spread them all out, and tight end TJ Punk runs a short dig route there, sits down nicely in the zone. Nice pitch and catch there from Ashley Jackson to the tight end. New coming over the season, first season with the Scorpions from Mexico City.
Now they go full house. Here's the strong side handoff. Unfortunately, DJ Moses ran into his own blocker. TJ Punk was in the way, and he didn't get to the line to gain, and now it's 3rd and 2.
Yeah, the defensive front for the Toros putting some pressure right off the snap there, getting in the backfield and disrupting that play a little bit. DJ Moses didn't quite have the room he was expecting to have to make gains on that play. Does set up a 3rd and short.
3rd down and 2. Scorpions approaching the touchdown mark here, and this time another run to the strong side is sniffed out by Fort Worth. Gang tackled right at the line of scrimmage, led by David Horrell and Gary Marks.
Yeah, the Toros really stiffen on that 3rd down there, 3rd and short. Gary Marks from his defensive end spot makes a great play, stuffing the run there and forcing the field goal attempt for the Scorpions.
Here is Larry Barr, 13 of 15 on the season, as he attempts a 32-yarder, which he gets right through there to put the Arizona Scorpions up 3-0.
Scorpions did have a shorter field on this drive, Michael. They only had 60 yards to go, weren't able to punch it into the end zone, but still 3 points here is great for the Scorpions. I think considering how the game started, the defense is playing well right off the bat. Ashley Jackson did throw that interception on the previous drive, but the defense came right back, got the ball back. Scorpions able to get 3 out of that drive and take the early lead.
And you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth there. Considering how the Arizona defense is playing, 3 points is a solid lead at this point in the game. Although, of course, that could all change on one play. Here's Cade Stevens out of the end zone, brings it up to the 24.
The Toros, talking about momentum changing on a single play. Toros had an offensive explosion last week. Big play after big play after big play to win a shootout against the San Diego Mavericks. And our boy there, Cade, was heavily involved in that game. I'll touch on that in just a moment.
Short over the middle, Robert Garrett Jr. spinning away from a tackle and picks up 9.
Right back to the Cowboy early on in the game here, and now it looks to be Robert Garrett Jr. 5 targets, 3 receptions early in the game. He is the only pass catcher so far early in this game for the Toros.
Well, 1 target to Cade Stevens and another to Lauren Percoco, both incomplete. And up the middle, stuffed is Williams. The Scorpions defensive front showing some sting, and it's 3rd and 1.
Mark Mello, opposite side from D.D. Sachs. These two are a formidable duo in the pass rush. And here we see Mark Mello playing excellent run defense from that defensive end spot. Really shuts down that lane. Doesn't let Williams pick up that 1st down.
Mello leads the league in tackles for loss with 14. Now on 3rd and 1, Williams trying to stretch the play, and he's shouldered to the ground at the 32-yard line. Another 3 and out for the Scorpions defense, and this time it's Joey Tropicana that applies the leverage.
Joey Tropicana leads this team in tackles coming into this game. At his linebacker spot, he sheds a blocker and sits Williams down. Take a vacation, he says. Joey Tropicana does there. That's a fantastic play by the outside linebacker. The Scorpions defense playing well.
Take a nice vacation, sit on the bench, watch your defense play. Not a great return, though, for McCall. So Arizona will be starting at their own 33-yard line as we reach towards the end of this first quarter. Only 42 seconds to go. Two right, single left, tight end right as well, split backs. Here is a lob, and a diving catch is made on the outside. Excellent catch by Donnie Hands to grab a ball that probably was thrown a bit too hard by Ashley Jackson on a go route. We do have a flag. And we'll see what this is. And it's going to be a late hit against Fort Worth. Delaney Nash came in late.
Well, that's an insult to injury on that play there for the Toros. Donnie Hands makes one of the better plays you'll see all season long, laying out for that ball. And we'll talk about these Hands brothers today, but it might be impossible for Ashley Jackson to outthrow Donnie and James Hands. And this is a great example. Donnie Hands just lays out and reels that one in, and then they call Delaney Nash for the penalty at the end of it.
Total of 41-yard gain on that play, and now Jackson, showing the pendulum-like nature of her performances, throws it into triple coverage, and it's batted away by Ben Stone.
Yeah, you almost can be certain of one thing, and that's that the Scorpions offense is going to play aggressive, and it doesn't matter to them that they're facing this number one defense here in the Toros. When Ashley Jackson sees something downfield, so far this season, the MO has been take that shot, try and hit that big play down the field when you got a chance, and that time Ben Stone played some good defense there for the Toros.
Hand off up the middle, and the one place Arizona really hasn't gotten going today is the run game. Another nice tackle by David Horrell on DJ Moses, gain of 1. And that will be the end of the first quarter. We've got a low-scoring ball game in the desert. It's Arizona 3, Fort Worth 1. Second quarter after these messages. Stay with us. Back inside Fatality Field here in Phoenix, Arizona. Michael Torillo and Benji Masson guiding you through this engaging Week 7 contest between the top-ranked Fort Worth Toros and the Arizona Scorpions. Scorpions trying to unseat Fort Worth at their rank to the top. Here's Jackson on a play action. Over the middle and cut for a first down towards the right-hand side. Coming back to the football was Jacob McCall, pulls in his second catch of the afternoon.
Great route on the outside by Jacob McCall here. Aggressive route downfield, cuts back sharply on that comeback route. Ashley Jackson hits him with a bullet. Picks up that first down. Another great play there. They are inside the red zone.
Let's see how aggressive Arizona's going to be. Their second trip to the red zone. Kicked a field goal their first time. Trying to stretch it to the outside with a spin move is Moses. And eventually he just loses a yard as he is gang tackled by about 4 yellow jerseys.
Yeah, DJ Moses had a hole there if he just would have accelerated straight ahead, but instead danced around a little bit too much in the backfield. And Nacho Sicario was able to wrap him up there. That could have been a big game for DJ Moses.
Second down at 11 from the 16. 4 receivers to aim at. Play action again. Throwing to the far sideline and caught by TJ Punk. Pulls in his second catch of the day.
Yeah, TJ Punk, tight end, was split out wide to the right on that play. Just ran a simple 10-yard up and out, sharp cut. And the big tight end is able to reel in that pass from Ashley Jackson. Sets up a 3rd and 1, easily manageable. Although they've been having problems running the ball, they are almost on the goal line here. It'll be interesting to see what Ashley Jackson and DJ Moses and company do on this play.
This is the exact same position where Fort Worth held him to a field goal on the last drive. They're going to give it to Moses, and he sneaks his way through. First down and goal from the 4.
Just slips through a little bit of daylight there, provided by the offensive line before Nacho Sicario comes out and sets him down on a great tackle, touchdown-saving tackle there by the cornerback, but it does set up a 1st and goal. Arizona, they can punch this in for a touchdown. Be huge for them here at home playing this Fort Worth Toro team.
Arizona looking to go up by 2 scores, and Moses wrapped up and dropped, gain of only 1. Second straight tackle of the touchdown-saving variety by Delaney Nash.
Delaney Nash, the strong safety out of Amarillo, Texas. 2nd season in the SFL, 2nd season with the Toros. Run support from that strong safety spot. Toro's been doing great all season long. And that's just another example of the type of play Delaney Nash can make from that strong safety spot.
Jackson gonna lob it up to the back of the end zone. It's tipped and incomplete. Ben Stone was the first to get a hands on it, and it's 3rd and goal.
Last week, Ashley Jackson, will touch on it. She threw 7 interceptions in their game. 7 possessions with an interception. That's just a ton in a game here in the SFL. They are on the goal line, 3rd and goal. You want to see the Scorpions be careful. Try and smash this one in. Don't turn the ball over here on the goal line.
They're in a running formation. Jackson back to pass, however, throws it short of the goal line and making a one-handed catch and scooting in. Touchdown, Scorpions! How about Nick Rockford, the fullback, making his presence known?
Unexpected play. Ashley Jackson dialing up one for the fullback. Show the fullback some love. And that's what they do here on the goal line. Rockford with the excellent one-handed snag and scoots into the end zone. And just like that, Ashley Jackson and these Scorpions about to take potentially a 10-point lead.
Well, it shocked us up here in the booth. It shocked the Fort Worth defense, and Arizona, against the best team in the league statistically, especially on defense, are about to have a 10-0 lead. The extra point is up. The extra point is good. 8:39 to go second quarter, and it's been all Scorpions so far.
This could be the dream start Coach Eddie Gage might have laid out in his mind when he thought about how this game could go today. First quarter, Scorpions playing great defense against the Toros. Ashley Jackson has 1 interception already, but that defense makes up for it. Outstanding drive right here by the Scorpions, and they're playing well at home against this Toro team. Got a little bit of a lead now. Let's see if this defense can keep playing well now that Fort Worth has the ball.
Throwing a little bit of wrinkles on offense to keep the Toros on their toes. See previous play of fullback out route for a touchdown. But now Fort Worth has got to find its feet offensively. Haven't gotten much. They've been most effective running the football, but only 10 yards for Jason Williams on 5 attempts. Penalty flag early, free play. Williams makes a spin move, scampers down the sideline. And Jason Williams now showing off his speed as Fort Worth moves towards midfield. But this one might come back, we'll see. No, it's going to be a neutral zone infraction, so the Toros will move up.
Jason Williams receiving the ball out of the backfield. We've already talked about DJ Moses catching the ball out of the backfield. Jason Williams, excellent and known league-wide for his running. One of the best running backs in the SFL, season in, season out. And this season, the same story. And his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield is just another added dimension to the Toros offense. It makes him so deadly. You see his athleticism there as he left cornerback Everett Garrison in the dust on that play.
First reception for Williams on that last play. They go back to him, this time on the ground, looking for a place to go, and he ends up only going backwards against the strong defensive front from Arizona. Everett Garrison up there to make the tackle.
Scorpions bring up 6 men to the line on that, trying to play the run, and sure enough, Fort Worth tried to come out with Jason Williams on that play, and it was stuffed.
Here is Cameron Curtis, floats it over the head of a defender, and it somehow finds its way into the hands of Robert Garrett Jr. for an 8-yard gain. Brings up third and a manageable 2, and the two veterans jarring at each other, Robert Garrett and Eddie Gage.
That was a dangerous pass there by Cameron Curtis, but all along he wanted to go to Robert Garrett Jr. there, able to connect on that for some positive forward momentum there. That was a dangerous play nonetheless. We'll talk about it as this game progresses, perhaps, with this Arizona Scorpions secondary, very opportunistic, and a opportunistic scoring secondary at that.
Down and 2, and once again nowhere to go up the middle. Thrown down by Mark Mello right at the line of scrimmage, and it's 4th down again for Fort Worth.
They sold out to stop the run on that play. Even the Hurricane Parker Thomas rushing in from his quarterback spot on a blitz there. They had dialed this one in. They were dedicated, selling out on that one.
And now Fort Worth set up to go for it. Let's see if they will or just burn a timeout in the next 14 seconds. Doesn't look like they will.
Worth a try, though, for the Toros here at midfield to see if you could try to get the Scorpions jump at home, but they're able to sit tight on that one.
They already jumped off sides once on this drive, but Arizona sits back on their heels, forces the burning of the timeout. And now with a 10-0 lead, they'll get the ball back here with plenty of time to work. In the second quarter, the Toros have not converted a 3rd down all game long so far, thanks to Gerald Smith for helping us out on stats today and providing us with little nuggets of information like that one. Punt on the way, fielded at the 10-yard line and only getting up to the 14-yard line is McCall. Nice punt by Ray Einhorn, and Arizona will have their worst starting field position of the ball game. The Sioux Falls Sparrows and the London Knights have just kicked off on the SFL's Twitch channel. A couple of teams looking to make a charge in the second half of the season, try to sneak into the playoffs. Jackson, middle, incomplete. I almost thought that Hands pulled that one down through all the contact, but it was, in the end, incomplete. Keep up with the SFL on its teams on social media on @SimulationFL. Follow us on Twitter for weekly broadcast schedules to discover team content and stay up to date on SFL news. Let us know who your favorite team is or how you enjoy broadcasts each week with the hashtag #MakeAnImpact. Thanks for your support and viewership. Ashley Jackson loads up again. It's tipped and incomplete and almost intercepted by Delaney Nash.
For a second there, it looked like they made the connection to James Hands there on this deep route, but Delaney Nash, Ben Stone there on the deflection at the free safety spot, breaks that one up. And if we see the Scorpions continuing to be aggressive, it doesn't matter what spot on the field they're at or what the game situation dictates, they're going to continue to be aggressive. Does set up a 3rd and 10. And again, there's one thing you don't want to see if you're the Scorpions right now, deep in your territory on a 3rd and 10. Try, don't throw an interception if you're Ashley Jackson.
They're on their own 14-yard line. Jackson going to go underneath to Punk. A lot of work to do. Can't quite get there. Punk picks up 8, but Ben Stone wrestles him to the ground to the 22, and a 3-and-out for Arizona.
And all things considering, that was probably the best decision to make right there. You don't have that wide open play down the field, so go with what you've got underneath and try and pick up the first down. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite do it with TJ Punk on that reception.
Brian Clouds gets the punt away from his own 10-yard line. And Cade Stevens will put Fort Worth in decent field position up at the 43-yard line. Coming up on the SFL halftime report, Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green analyze the first half, provide updates on Sioux Falls, London, and present the top 10 plays from Week 6. It's all coming up on the SFL halftime report.
And now if you're the Toros, you just got to settle down a little bit. Scorpions are playing great defense and limiting what you can do on offense, but just don't deviate from your game plan. Just stick to it, be patient, see what comes to you on this drive.
Loaded out to the far side, and a gain of 5 as that time Jason Williams grabbed that pass. As everybody saunters back to the line, up-tempo go Fort Worth here with 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. A nice throw, pitch, and catch to the outside. It's the first target for Stephen Hacker on the day, and Fort Worth moves inside Arizona territory. Cameron Curtis from the gun again, this time over the middle. This time he finds Cade Stevens for 9 yards, and they'll keep the ball rolling.
They found something they like here on offense.
Curtis, under pressure, slips a sack, throws to the far side. Oh my goodness, he caught it! What a catch on the far sideline by Lauren Percoco. Her first catch of the game, and bails out a Houdiniac by Cameron Curtis. Now into the red zone, underneath for Hacker. And they'll continue to go up-tempo. From the 13-yard line, here's Curtis underneath. Tackle made on a catch by Cade Stevens, and it looks like finally Fort Worth will slow it down.
Yeah, this no huddle by Fort Worth, catching the Scorpions off guard. It's led to some great gains here deep into Scorpions territory at this point. Does set up a 3rd and 2. What are you going to do here if you're the Toros against the Scorpions front?
First trip to the red zone for Fort Worth, trying to lean on the running game. But once again, Jason Williams finding no love through the middle. B.J. Lovelace and Mark Mello combine on the stop. 4th and 2, and they're going to force the field goal from Taco Sicario.
Fantastic stand by the Scorpions on defense. I think this is, if you're a Scorpion right now, this is incredible after that drive here. You're forcing the Toros to just a 3-point attempt here. Great defensive stand deep in territory.
Up and good from 26 yards. The Toros are on the board with 3:48 to go in the second quarter. And finally, the Fort Worth offense finds some success. With a little bit of up-tempo, they went about 60 yards, but were stopped in the red zone by Arizona.
And Cameron Curtis on that drive, really distributing the ball, finally able to get everyone involved. All of his stars on the opposite side of the ball touched the ball on that drive.
From the 5-yard line, here's McCall, spins his way past the first wave of tacklers and is taken out at the 28-yard line. So now if I'm Arizona, do you want to play slow, or is that something the Scorpions are even built to do?
Well, that's an interesting question. I don't think they're going to play slow. I mean, I won't come out and say I don't think they know how to play slow. I just think that they're always looking to be aggressive. And I don't think necessarily that they should stop, even though they have built this lead right now.
They will go right up the middle on an I formation. Still on his feet is Moses. Finally wrestled down after a gain of 6 yards.
Great rush up front again by that front by the Toros, kind of dictated where DJ Moses was going to go with that ball. I believe Catherine Whirl from the defensive tackle spot put some great pressure and really blew up the offensive line there. Sets up a 2nd and 4 for Arizona.
Looks like a running formation again on 2nd and 4. Here's the handoff to Moses, strong side right, gets a block, cuts inside, gets free, shakes a tackle and goes down the field. DJ Moses, one man to beat, and he is gone. Sting him, touchdown Scorpions.
DJ Moses parted the gold Toro Sea on that run. Finally turned upfield, squared those shoulders right away, and exploded on that gain. Massive play here by the Scorpions for this huge touchdown by DJ Moses. The Scorpions increase the lead.
Arizona has now scored more points than the Fort Worth Toros allow on average. Remember, they only allow about 10.5 points per game coming into the night's contest. And Arizona's put up 16 in the first half. But once again, the Scorpions are one of the better offenses in the league, averaging 31 points per game. They've scored 181 points through the first 6 games of the season. On for the extra point. Here's Larry Barr. And it is up, and it is good. So shockingly, Arizona increases the lead. It's 17-3 with 3 minutes to play in the first half.
The Toros coming into this weekend were at the top of the league at 5-1. We've talked about their number 1 defense. But 5-1, I don't think they've played a team like Arizona yet this season. I think Arizona is going to present a challenge, which we're already seeing, that the Toros just haven't faced yet. And it's starting to play out here right in front of us. This explosive offense is causing the Toros some fits here early.
It's certainly one of the more unique styles in the SFL. And this sort of all-out aerial attack, air raid offense, if you will, interspersed with some runs from DJ Moses. A lot of SFL teams like to play behind their running backs. The Toros are one of them from Jason Williams, but he really hasn't gotten going yet today. Short pass over the middle. Robert Garrett Jr. gets laid out by a big hit after a gain of 6. Nice tackle by B.J. Lovelace.
That's going to be Robert Garrett Jr.'s 5th reception on the day so far. Again, that number 1 target for Cameron Curtis. He's not holding on the ball too long, perhaps to give some of these slower developing routes a chance to develop down the field. But instead, the Scorpions defense is just kind of causing him to take what he can get early.
Well, this time he finds a hole and gets the first down up to the 33, eventually wrestled to the ground by Tropicana.
Jason Williams, that was his, I believe, maybe a 9th attempt on the day. They want to see his workload get into the 20s today if you are the Toros.
Good morning here from Fatality Field. Arizona on top 17-3. And Fort Worth closed the distance before halftime. Find out next. This is the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Back inside Fatality Field here, last 2 minutes of the first half. Toro's down 17-3, and a pass out to the far side is caught by Lauren Percoco. Added 2nd down and 4. Clock continues to run here. Fort Worth not in a lot of hurry.
Yeah, they might be playing for trying to run out the clock here in this half. Just keep possession here with this last minute and a half and their 2 timeouts. See if they can make something happen, and don't give the ball back to the Scorpions.
Off middle, that's the fullback, Chris Komasak, and he picks up a first down to the 47-yard line.
Chris Komasak isn't used all the time for the Toros, but he's back there as a big fullback, excellent blocking back for Jason Williams, and capable hands too as a receiver out of the backfield when needed, when called upon by Cameron Curtis.
Clock ticks down, a minute to go in the first half. Robert Garrett Jr. in traffic, close to a first down into Arizona territory, and now Fort Worth goes up tempo. It's over the middle again and almost intercepted by Iverson Campbell. Oh, that would have been his 6th of the season.
He was looking his chops at that one. That was dangerous. Any tipped ball like that in the area of Iverson Gamble, and the cornerback is looking to take that back to the house.
3 pick sixes through 6 games for Iverson Gamble. Sometimes it might be better to be lucky than good. 3rd and inches. Over the middle, tipped, and this time incomplete. It was in the hands of Joey Tropicana. It looked like one of his compatriots wanted to take it away from him, and they ended up both not getting it.
Yeah, couldn't quite come down with that one. The ball wasn't quite secured by the Toros on that one. Tipped the ball up in the air. Lucky it didn't come away with an interception. Does set up a 4th and inches. Toros are coming out, spreading it out. They might go for it here.
Fort Worth still has not converted a 3rd down in this first half. 4th down, over the middle to the safe hands of Robert Garrett Jr., and they're inside the 35. Here comes the up-tempo offense. Short over the middle to Percoco. Only a gain of 3 to the 30. Clock continues to run. Fort Worth, remember, has 2 timeouts. High snap. Curtis floats it downfield and incomplete. Hit the feet of the intended receiver.
Dangerous pass there as well. Tipped by a Scorpions defender there. Could have been Joey Tropicana, I believe, the outside linebacker there. He could have had a chance to take that one to the house as well. Scorpions aren't going to drop too many of these passes if you're Fort Worth. I know they're pushing here at the end of the first half, but you got to be careful with the ball.
It's under center. Back to throw. Over the middle. Caught by Cade Stevens at the 20. And Fort Worth burns a timeout with 16 seconds to go in the half. And they are well and solidly in field goal range.
Nice grab there by Cade Stevens. 3 receptions, I believe, on the day for a little over 23 yards. On 3 receptions last week, Cade Stevens had 112 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a Hail Mary at the end of the first half against San Diego. Could that be a trick up the Toro's sleeve? Something big to Cade Stevens at the gun here.
"15 seconds to go. Throw to the far sideline behind the intended receiver, Stephen Hacker, and knocked away. So it will be 2nd and 10, 12 seconds to go. And it looks like they may be about to kick a field goal here with Taco Sicario on the field.
Yeah, great play by Everett Garrison there before this snap happens. He recovered nicely on that play and really closed the gap and knocked that ball down.
Sicario, low snap, almost blocked, gets it away and good from 36 yards. So Taco has all the scoring for Fort Worth in this first half. 8 seconds to go in it, and it's 17-6. Arizona still on top.
Another promising drive for the Toros. The clock was an issue on this one, I know, but they did run into another formidable Scorpions defense. Another series here where Arizona keeps them out of the end zone.
Vicario set to kick off. This will be the last play of the first half. This return by Jacob McCall, and he will be run down short of the 25-yard line. There's actually 4 seconds left. Well, Arizona could take a shot if they want. They got 3 timeouts, but you can't get a playoff in less than 4 seconds. So this
might as well
will
go
be the
for it.
final play of the first half. Arizona in an I formation, pretty conservative. Looks like they're content to just run this one out and head to the half. Jackson, although, back to throw. Down the field, knocked away by Stone. And there's 1 second left, so just proving me wrong when I say you can't run a play in under 4 seconds.
Plenty of time now, and now 1 second's all I need to score. Looking down the field again to one of these Hands brothers. We didn't really talk about it much in the first half, but they have been fantastic this year for Ashley Jackson and the Scorpions. And every time she drops back, she's looking for Donnie and James Hands.
1 second to go. This will be the final play of the half. Jackson, plenty of protection in the flat, and it's caught, but time will run out on the half. So we head to the halftime interval. Your score, Arizona 17, Fort Worth 6. Is there an upset brewing here in Phoenix today? We'll head to break, but afterwards, it is Cameron Irvine and Mike St. Green to break down the first half on the halftime show is next.
Welcome to the SFL Halftime Report along with Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. Big game going on in Phoenix right now. The Scorpions up 17-6, beating Fort Worth at their own game. Already more points than Fort Worth gives up on the average. Mike, what'd you think of that first half?
Cam, excellent first half for Arizona. They probably don't want it. Couldn't go any better than what it went for them. I'm pretty sure Eddie Gage is happy in the locker room right now with the way things turned out in this first half. Actually, it looked like Fort Worth were, going to be on the defensive game early on. The defensive line were, giving Ashley Jackson fits in that pocket. A couple of, back-to-back sacks from Schwint and Harrell in that half, and Delaney Nash had an interception. It looked like a typical Fort Worth, but Arizona righted everything, and big touchdown pass from Ashley Jackson to Rockford on a play, and huge touchdown run from DJ Moses got Arizona going in this half.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising that Arizona was almost beating Fort Worth at their own game. Fort Worth there for a really long time in that half had not converted a third down. They actually converted a fourth down before they converted a third down in this game, and Arizona leads by 11. Over in the United Kingdom, London and Sioux Falls, that's a 10-point margin, and we wanted to show you this rainbow pass here right there in Mike St. Green's window. That put the London Knights up 10-0. Dustin Zeck with the touchdown. So, Mike, what have you seen over there as Sioux Falls getting shut out right now?
London has came out in this game, came extremely sharp. The opening drive was a long drive that's stalled out inside the 10-yard line that resulted in a field goal. As we saw the Dustin Zeck touchdown there. Sioux Falls can't get anything going right now. London with the ball again. Just come out looking extremely sharp in this first half. I'm kind of surprised that Sioux Falls, came out looking the way that they have thus far. 44
yards on 8 carries for Robert Merrill. They're getting him. They're finding places to get him more open, and he's making some plays out there. So London trying to get back above 500 at 4-3. Well, Mike, we've been saying, well, that's a top 10 play. That's a top 10 play. That's a top 10 play all weekend long. It's been filled with them here in Week 7. We had 10 great ones in Week 6 too. And here's a look back at last week's best plays if you haven't seen them.
Run with it, but they threw with it.
They went pass happy, and it was successful. Tipped and picked off just like that. They're going back to the house. 10-5 touchdown, London. What a flip of the script, Matt.
Mike, I think we've just seen a bolt of lightning.
A bolt of lightning. You never know when or where it's ever going to strike.
Well, we do now. That's 14 points in about, 7 seconds. 8 seconds.
This game with the pick six.
King, 7-step drop, surveys the field, over the middle, in the end zone, touchdown, Houston!
That is unbelievable. Randy Pierce, the rookie. Count how many blue shirts are around Pierce when he's in the end zone on this post route. He's got the man on him, the safety deep, the third guy trailing, and somehow Pierce manages to come up with that ball.
For Sioux Falls on the 17-yard line. Tyree back to pass. Flag on the play again. Pass far side. It's caught and into the end zone goes Al Delapre Sr., but we'll have to get the call from R62 to see if it stands. And it's defensive holding, which means Sioux Falls will get the touchdown.
A great response by Dilpree and the Sparrows here. I thought I might have seen holding on the edge, but no, it's called out in the field, and it is a mean stiff arm.
Some great throws, but the receivers aren't hanging on to the ball. I mean, what do you do? Problem is that St. Louis is running all these receivers and they're leaving their tight ends not on the field. Throw it to the tight ends.
Tight end should always be out there. Out route down to the bottom. Making the catch and turning upfield. There you go. There's some yards. A nice move on that play. Exodus Baines making up. Oh, excuse me. That is Guy Clausen, the tight end, was on the field, Matt.
Well, that's what I said. Throw it to your... Look at this move by Clausen. The turbocharger. Whoa. Well, there's that. He does not have the Titanic rudder, Mike. He's more like a speedboat. And just running down the field, picking up extra yards. And
Charleston's actually looking pretty good right now.
Drew fires, caught on the corner. Ken Maccaro tiptoes the sideline. What a play!
Just over Michael Sprouse, but like you said, tiptoeing down the sideline. Didn't bring in that one before, but brought in this one. As you can see, just a double foot tap. What concentration on that football.
300 yards coming into the game for Love. Gets the counter play to the right side, makes a move, makes the man miss. Down the sideline, Ezekiel Love's going to have a huge run. Can anybody catch him? No, they don't. 46 yards to the house. Ezekiel Love gives Portland the lead.
And Steven, behold the shiftiness of Ezekiel Love. Did not have a straight line to the sideline. Did not have a gaping hole through which to run. But you see him take the handoff here. And everybody just kind of misses him. Great stiff arm there. And now he is off to the races. And it looks like number 42, Parker Thomas, might have a shot to catch it, but can't quite get the angle. And Ezekiel Love gives Portland Fleet their first lead of the game.
They're down in 6 now. Brown going deep over the middle, tipped in and out of the hands of multiple people, and then caught. Oh, hauled in off of the deflection after bouncing in and out of the hands of 2 Knights defenders. Eagle Mondavi able to get that one, and wow, what a play.
Well, Mike, a big deflection. Mondavi doesn't get his hands on it till the third tip the Eagle lands.
If so, how much of him can you count on, and how much longer will it be before E.T. King unleashes the dragon?
And Kai Cash is bouncing it out to the outside, and he's got room. I don't think anyone is going to catch him. Clock has hit triple zeros, and Kai Cash is going to take this one to the end zone. Kickoff return for a touchdown.
Money in the bag for Kai Cash. Just when you thought Houston was going to be content with a 1-point lead going to the locker room, oh no, Kai Cash had different plans. What an outstanding run back. So rarely you see big special teams runs, and you see Jackman there. He thought he was going to use that pad on the back of his shoulder pads, but no, can't get the angle on Cash, and Cash is gone.
For Hackett, that was the third catch. He's up to 123 yards, 4.5, and Curtis will just launch this puppy to the end zone. He had all day to throw, and this is going to be caught for the touchdown. Oh my, Keith Stevens with a great play.
Made a prayer to the football gods, and it was answered. The ball tips around. Probably the worst thing you can do as a defense is not pat that ball down to the ground, and that is why right there, Colin.
Back to pass. Swing pass again to Beletsky near side. He has a little bit more room. Hey, fumble the football! Ah, big man scrambling!
Big beef.
Ham! 10-5 touchdown! Sioux Falls! We got a big man touchdown in South Dakota!
Dirty bird from the big man. Nothing better than beefy, thick touchdowns. Big play to possibly end the half, as a Beletsky hits the spin move for the second play in a row, and the opportunity is there again by Ringgold. Coming up great as his compadre up the sideline. Jonathan Kampf gets to the end zone. It is a race of a bunch of big men in there, and you can't catch them.
That was a great top 10, especially those top 3 that you could have put any of them number 1. Mike, your favorite play of the year so far? What you got?
Well, Cam, it's tough to narrow them down every week, as you realize, and while it's even tougher to narrow it down for a season. But we'll see if he's going to make the top 10 next week. But that great run from Ezekiel Love yesterday, the 80-yard touchdown run right before halftime to close out the half with Portland taking the lead on the Denver yesterday. That was a great, great play to end that half.
That was awesome. And, of course, he made it this past week, number 5, with that vicious stiff arm on that defender who shall not be named. Coming up after the break, we get you started in the second half from Arizona, 17-6. Scorpions lead the Toros. This has been the SFL Halftime Report.
It is about to be second half football action from Fatality Field in Arizona. Welcome back into the Scorpions and the Toros. I'm Michael Zavillo along with Benji Matson up here in the commentary booth. Gerald Smith has our backs on stats, as Arizona with a 17-6 lead and the football to start the second half. Benji, the first half, not at all what we expected.
Yeah, we thought that we would be talking a lot about the Fort Worth Toros and their dominating play continuing here on the road in Arizona. But Scorpions has had something to say about that and enjoyed this lead at halftime. And now they've received the ball here to start the second half.
Really, it's been the Arizona defense that's been the story of the day. 2 spin moves by DJ Moses and gets a 7-yard gain out to the 31.
And they've gotten here, sorry, Michael, they've got here so far to this result by just playing aggressive, which we've talked about a number of points in that first half. And I think we expect that aggressive gameplay to continue here in this half.
Arizona pedal to the metal on offense all game long. Fort Worth will be disappointed not to have maybe 2 more interceptions, and that time a nice slant into a double team works out well for James Hands, and Arizona's got the 43-yard line. And that is a career milestone, 15,000 yards for Ashley Jackson.
Congratulations, Ashley Jackson, AJ Striker, longtime advocate for the SFL, excellent leader there in Arizona, and congratulations on eclipsing 15,000 passing yards.
Started a career in Tulsa, moved over to Arizona when they were bought out from their previous home in Oklahoma City. High snap over the middle, pass is caught, and just a gain of 5 that time by Roscoe Justice.
Ashley's going to keep slinging it in this second half. Arizona is going to continue to want to try and put pressure, a different type of pressure on this Fort Worth Toros defense than they're used to. There's so many weapons across the board for the Scorpions. Want to keep the Toros guessing.
Hand off to Moses, and he's crushed before he can get to the line to gain. He'll go down right at midfield as Schwint makes the tackle.
DJ Moses had that explosive touchdown run in the first half to increase this Arizona lead to 17-6. Going to continue to turn around and hand the ball off to him. They can still play aggressive and hand the ball off to DJ Moses. I think they're going to try and want to incorporate more of that in the second half.
Deep down the right-hand sideline and caught through a double team. Donnie Hands double him up. First down deep inside Fort Worth territory.
That was a laser from Ashley Jackson to Donnie Hands in double coverage. Doesn't matter. Look at him sky for that ball and bring that one in. 6'6", 220 pounds is Donnie Hands out of Chicago. One of the better receivers in the SFL, having a fantastic season. That was a great play by the vet there on the outside.
Jump by the Fort Worth defense. Free play for Arizona, and it's almost taken away. And no harm done there. Jumping the route was J.L. Browning and bats it to the ground. A little bit of a score update. Halftime between London and Sioux Falls over in the United Kingdom. The Knights have a 10-0 lead over a struggling Sioux Falls team this year. Key stat from that game, quarterback Julian Tyree, 7 passing yards at the end of the first half for Sioux Falls. That just shows you how good the London defense has been.
Yeah, that London defense came to town here in Arizona and did beat the Scorpions at home. And it's part of this schedule they played early in this first half of the season. It's actually a really hard schedule that Arizona's had. We'll touch on it here in just a moment.
No yards on the play. Visit the all-new SFL League website at simulationfl.net for info on how to create a player to join our community, the league, and the teams that play in it. There's also links to apparel, helmets, and a comprehensive history of the SFL and it's over 1,400 games and thousands of players who have hit the virtual field. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. Jackson going for the end zone, and that would have put the fans here at Fatality Field in fantasy land, but the diving attempt by McCall is incomplete.
And we touched on this schedule that Arizona has played through the first half of this season. They've played the Denver Nightwings, the Baltimore Vultures, two teams that share 2 losses between the two of them, 2 of the best teams in the SFL, an improved London team. So they have faced some stiff competition, and their 3-3 record, I don't think quite tells us just how good they are.
Well, good thing you stopped, Benji, because E.K. Vincent had his eyes on the football, and unfortunately it was knocked away. So here comes Larry Barr on 4th and 4 from the 21. This will be the longest field goal attempt by either kicker tonight. And it'll put Arizona up 20-7 if it goes. Barr 14 for 16 on the season, 1 for 1 so far this afternoon. And this will be a 37-yarder. The right foot of Barr kicks this ball into the wind and right through the uprights from 37 yards away. So Arizona extends their lead. It's now 20-7, and I'm very surprised as Fort Worth gets ready to come back on offense. We have not heard more from their top receiver, Stephen Hacker. Only 2 receptions for 26 yards.
I'm sure that's something they were talking about at halftime as they're making adjustments on the offensive side of the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it a priority now coming out of the gun here, out of the gate in the second half for Cameron Curtis to be looking for these receivers downfield, trying to make something happen, including Stephen Hacker.
And we definitely need to see more out of the Fort Worth offense, because there was not a lot going on in the first half, only 6 points. Both of them from the right foot of Taco Sicario. And they're facing a 16-point deficit, and now another sack by Arizona. Mark Mello dragged him down for his 9th of the season.
Great play. I think you got to start first of all here with that secondary of Arizona locking up the Toros. There's no one open downfield. We see Cameron Curtis double pump, waiting, trying to buy some time for someone to get open, and there's just no one open down the field. And Mark Mello wraps him up and sets him down. Another sack from one of the league leaders this season.
3rd in the league in sacks. Now 9.5 on the season for Mark Mello. 2nd down and 17. Floated to the far sideline and knocked away by Parker Thomas. And it's 3rd and 17. And Fort Worth, they needed to start this half on the front foot, and now they're only going backwards.
Great play here by Parker Thomas. 4th season in the league, all with Arizona. They call him the Hurricane. Out of Fort Thomas, Kentucky. Makes a great play on that ball there. Could have taken it in for 6 if he would have just had a little faster jump on it, but nonetheless drops back in coverage, knows exactly where Cade Stevens is on the outside, and makes the nice play to knock that ball down.
How about this? 3rd and 17, I formation, single receiver out to the left. It's going to be more protection and floating into double coverage and incomplete. Looking for the tight end, Lauren Percoco. At Arizona's defense holds strong. It's a 3-and-out for Fort Worth.
Nice to see the Toros, though, going down the field. They're deploying this 2 tight end set, this system this season, and they brought in Lauren Percoco in the draft, the rookie out of Long Island, New York, the Doctor, they call her, 6'7", an excellent compliment to Robert Garrett Jr. These 2 tight end sets can put pressure on the defense, and here we see them going downfield, just can't quite make the connection. But that shows you they're looking to be a little bit more aggressive here in the second half.
Secondary for Arizona has forced 7 pass deflections so far in this ball game, and the Scorpions will start in Fort Worth territory at the 47-yard line following McCall's fair catch. And for Arizona, we talk about halftime adjustments. I don't think they need to make any.
I mean, what would you say? I mean, you know, you guys need to play a whole lot better. I'm not happy with our progress here so far in the game. I'm not quite sure how Eddie Gage talked him up at halftime, but I think he had lots of good things to say about their play.
Well, probably don't do that, as that one is in and out of the hands of McCall in a triple team down the field. And I think this is one of the things that has kept a lot of games with Arizona close, is that, as we've said before, they only have one style, and that's aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. And as, 19 interceptions for Ashley Jackson on the season.
Exactly.
Can't really help, especially when you're in the lead in games.
Yeah, only one game this season did Ashley Jackson enjoy, no interceptions there. So she's thrown multiple interceptions in these games, and that's going to be key, Michael. Just what you said, especially in the second half, just being mindful of protecting that ball.
Got to bounce it outside as DJ Moses gets a pickup of 5, third down and 5. The SFL broadcast team is looking to add new talent to our ranks of broadcasters. Applications are being accepted now to try out for either play-by-play or analyst broadcasting positions. No prior experience is required, just a love for the game and a desire to succeed. The application can be found on our website at simulationfl.net/broadcasting. On 3rd and 5, a first down right at the sticks for James Hands, coming straight at us towards the sideline. Clock is going to tick down under 6 minutes to go in the third.
Close play at the sticks there, but James Hands is able to reach that ball out as he's fallen down to pick up that first down, but perhaps we'll see. It looks like they're going to review this play and get another close-up shot at this one.
Stephen Hacker, who was just named the half-season coach of the year with his compatriot Nacho Sicario, and that is very close. We didn't really get a good angle on it.
After review, the player stepped out of bounds. The Bulls.
And it looks like there's going to be short, so Fort Worth wins the challenge, keeps their timeout, and will get the ball back. And that's a huge call there to challenge that first down play. But hang on a second. Hold on to your hats. Arizona's offense
Running the ball with Jason Williams, but you've got to start to think that Fort Worth believes there's a little bit of urgency here. They're down 2 scores. They've got to make something happen as we're almost halfway through the third quarter.
back to pass, slings it out into the flat and turning up field for first down yardage, even though he got driven back past the original line of scrimmage, is Jason Williams. Forward progress moves him to the 48-yard line of Arizona.
This is going to be an interesting drive as we see this play out. If Fort Worth can punch us in for a score and narrow that gap, that's going to be huge. But go back to Arizona's mindset and going forward on 4th and inches. If they could have continued that drive and they could have scored even just another field goal to make this a 3-score game, that would have been huge for the Scorpions.
Football is a game of inches. We say it all the time. That on that last drive, literally, as Williams spins his way for 5.
And we'll see how this drive goes, Michael. But if they punch the ball in here, then the clock's not a factor for the Toros. They still have a full quarter and much of the third to play.
Just past halfway in the third quarter. A handoff to the fullback, Chris Komasak, and he gets stood up for no gain. Sector 6 is the official apparel provider of the Simulation Football League. Visit sector6apparel.com or our website at simulationfl.net for replica team jerseys and completely customized jackets, flags, t-shirts, and more that help each team stand out from their opponents. Get the gear the fans wear with Sector 6 and the SFL going deep. Picked off! Climbing the ladder to take it away is Eddie Gage. He adds another piece to his legendary career, and it's a turnover for Fort Worth.
Eddie Gage, playing shortstop back there, center field, I might say. Had an interception last week in the ball game, and that is a timely play by the captain, by the veteran there to pick that one off. Well positioned, hauls that one in, and kills that Toro drive.
I don't think we've called Eddie Gaines's name to this point besides, mentioning him in the roster rundowns at the beginning of the broadcast. From out of nowhere, 2 Scoops comes up with the pick, and Arizona, he gets a chance to run more clock. Unfortunately, Donnie Hand slides out of bounds there, and 4:16 to go in the third.
And just like that, Ashley Jackson comes out firing on first down. Arizona's going to do what Arizona's going to do here. And they're really dictating the tempo and the play, really going after this Toro defense, making them prove that they can stop the Scorpions on offense.
Off Moses as the Toro's defensive front parts for him as he gets to the 36-yard line. Remember, the biggest play of the game was the 66-yard Moses touchdown of the second quarter that really blew this game open.
Yeah, he'd been running a bit timid perhaps in a few plays leading up to that big 66-yard run. We saw a couple situations where he wasn't quite cutting up field when he had the running lane that was appearing open to him, but on that long run, he did just that, made that aggressive cut, squared his shoulders, and ran straight downfield for the touchdown.
Offset eye, Jackson back to pass over the middle towards nobody in particular. TJ Punk was the closest to it, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. From the 36-yard line, Scorpions try to increase their lead here late in the third. Handoff left side, Moses gets by one blocker, spins out of a second, and a very impressive 9-yard gain off the left-hand side for DJ Moses.
And Gary Marks almost gets him in the background, but he's able to break free and make a great run there.
He's had a couple of runs like that this game, Benji, just sort of being very elusive in the box. Just not, Fort Worth having trouble laying a hand on big number 25. Now I formation on 3rd and 1, and Moses once again right through for a first down, close to midfield, and Cameron Irvine has an update for us. What's happening, Cam?
Thank you, Mike. A historically poor day for Julian Tyree.
Yeah, Cam, Julian Tyree's struggles continue today. Brandon Ewing with another big interception here. The 3rd of the day for Tyree. London still dominating Sioux Falls 10-0.
Tyree is 4 for 13 for 6 yards and 3 picks. Back to you, Mike.
Oof, break out the history books and not in a good way. It's been a tough season for Sioux Falls. After going to the championship game in back-to-back seasons, they're now staring down the face of 1-6 and potentially having to win out to make the playoffs. 2nd down and 8 after a Moses run. And we're going to see another one here. This time he can't get away.
They do a great job of locking him up there. Catherine Horrell in the middle of that defensive tackle spot, continuing to clog things up, making life difficult for that Scorpion offensive line in that run game.
3rd and 7, 4 wide. Here's the patented Arizona offense, and it's going to be a play action, a sidearm sling by Jackson, and the defense was just relaxing as they batted that ball down easily. 4th and 7.
Toro's applying some defensive pressure there. Ashley Jackson has to backpedal and holds on to it as long as she can. Lucky that one didn't end in an interception. It thankfully falls to the turf. They're going to punt it away and play some defense. Not a bad result if you're the Scorpions, because they are continuing to play well on the defensive side of the ball.
Only a minute 31 to go in the third quarter, and how the Arizona defense has played to this game, or to this point of the game, rather, you don't expect Fort Worth to score again, at least a touchdown. And plus, when they start for their own 13-yard line. What a punt, and the nice play downfield by Arizona to cover it.
Yeah, the defense is playing just excellent this week. Last week, Jason Williams carried the ball 19 times for 170 yards, and today Unofficially, 20 yards on 10 carries. So Arizona is just not letting Williams get anything on the ground today.
Potentially a good formation here for Fort Worth as the linebackers will roll back as Williams is able to pick his way off the right-hand side for 3 yards. And now we got official numbers, and you were right on the money. 27 yards. He just had an 7-yard carry.
Well, props there to the stats truck.
Yeah, that's all Gerald Smith keeping us updated on all the facts and figures we need to keep the broadcast going smoothly. We are very appreciative of our stats team. They do a great job every week. Go over the middle into space. Guess who? Stephen Hacker picks up a Fort Worth first down as we approach the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, great route there. Fort Worth is definitely absolutely still in this thing. Go to your weapons. That's a great pickup there by Stephen Hacker. He had a fantastic game last week. We haven't had an opportunity to talk about it. He had 5 receptions for 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. He averaged almost 30 yards a reception last week. Break out some of the Hacker now in this game.
Pass out into the flat for Williams. You could say, because Stephen has not had the best game against this Arizona defense, the Scorpions' firewalls are very good. But that is a little bit of low-hanging fruit on that joke.
There we go. They are very good.
Apologies to all involved. Second down at 7 after the pass in the flat. And it's going to be a run up the middle. Look out. Going nowhere is Jason Williams because he ran into the big body of D.D. Sachs. And it's going to be third down. And we have reached the end of the third quarter. Put your 4s up. Arizona trying to hold on for their third win in a row. Back after this for the fourth. Michael Trillo, Benji Matson, the voices talking your way through this one here in Arizona. The hometown Scorpions on top of the visiting Fort Worth Toros, 20-6 here in the fourth quarter. Fort Worth trying to find some sort of comeback here. A lot of time in the pocket for Cameron Curtis. He just flings it out of bounds, and it's 4th and 8. Not the start to the final period of play that the Toros wanted, Benji.
No, on a 3rd and 8, Toros sent 3 receivers downfield, but there was just nothing open. That Scorpion secondary locking him down again. Cameron Curtis made a decision at the last minute. Chris Komasak's momentum carried him out of bounds. A great defense again. Story of the day here by Arizona.
Another punt for the Fort Worth Toros' Ray Einhorn. And Arizona will take the ball at their own 33-yard line. The game, despite having 26 points in it, which is combined, a lot of SFL games don't get there, it sort of seemed sluggish from both sides.
I think the sluggishness we attribute to these two really great defenses here today. We've talked at length about Fort Worth's defense this season, and we know Arizona, season in, season out, has a great defense. I think that's what we're seeing today. Great defenses.
Gage, one of the best defensive coaches in the game, and this season we have definitely seen that he has stepped up his offensive coaching prowess as well, as Arizona averages about 30 points per game. They might not get there today, but they are certainly putting on an impressive performance this afternoon against the Toros. Full house on 2nd and 9. Here comes the blitz. Moses leaps over a defender and then gets clobbered right at the line of scrimmage. Big hit on the back end there, and it'll be 3rd and 9.
Yeah, Arizona with 20 points on the day. That's more points than Fort Worth has given up all season long.
That was Jeff Taylor on that last tackle for Fort Worth. On 3rd and 9, Jackson going deep, caught. Impressive catch on the outside by James Hands. He went one-on-one with Ben Stone and won the battle. And it's a first down for Arizona off a 3rd and 9 play.
Another laser by Ashley Jackson here. Towards the end of the first half, I believe, we saw Donnie Hands with a fantastic catch in between two defenders here, and Ashley just looks to the other side of the field and goes to his brother James and connects with James Hands. He also had a fantastic game last week. 7 receptions, 194 yards, and a touchdown last week. Just these Hands brothers are having a tremendous season for the Scorpions.
Jackson back to pass again for the shotgun formation. That's a dangerous pass. McCall bails her out and picks up an 11-yard first down of the 31.
Ashley Jackson kind of throwing that one with a little bit of touch that we didn't see on the previous rocket. Adam Leach almost gets there in time to make a play on that ball, but Ashley Jackson able to complete that one for first down.
Leach does have a pick 6 on the year. Only one for this Toros team so far. And as I say that, it's intercepted. E.K. Vincent has got one man to beat, and he's run down by DJ Moses. Second pick of the game by Ashley Jackson. And is there a light at the end of the tunnel for the Toros now?
Big play. Just when they needed to have it. E.K. Vincent, the veteran linebacker, makes a great play on the ball here, intercepts Ashley Jackson, and starts a beeline for the end zone. Can't quite make it, but excellent veteran outside linebacker for the Toros with his first interception of the season. When they needed to have a big play, E.K. Vincent delivers for the Toros.
Now Fort Worth's got to get something done on offense. Out of the flat to Jason Williams. Spin move to get by one, and then he's clobbered out of bounds after a gain of 8. And we've got more action from the other side of the pond. Cameron Irvine, give it to us.
Thanks, Torillo. Mike, despite 125 yards of total offense, Sioux Falls still in this one.
Yes, Cam, London's allowing Sioux Falls to hang around in this one. Terrell Davis with a huge interception right here to keep Sioux Falls in it. Early in the fourth quarter, London's only ahead 10-0.
But Sioux Falls had to punt again. 10-0 London. Back to Torillo, Benji, Gerald, the rest of the crew in Phoenix.
Cam and Mike in the studio. Fort Worth has a first down at the Arizona 32. Remember, they're still only down 2 scores with about 7.5 to go. It is not out of the question for a Toros comeback here, especially not if Cameron Curtis does that and finds Robert Garrett Jr. down the middle for a touchdown.
Right on cue, Michael. Giddy up, cowboy. Right on into the end zone there. Huge play. E.K. Vincent wins that ball back for the Toros. And then Cameron Curtis finds his favorite target of the day, Robert Garrett Jr. His third touchdown of the season. Fantastic play.
9th touchdown on the season for Cameron Curtis. And just like that, we're an extra point away from a 7-point ball game. Taco Sicario is up and in on the extra point. Fort Worth not going away. It's 20-13, 7.5 to go as we take a look at the South Division standings. Fort Worth and Mexico City would be tied atop the division if this current score holds. Houston having a good season, and Lone Star still there as well at 3-4. Arizona back on offense. McCall back to the 25-yard line for Arizona. And SFL action continues next week on Next Level Sports. Week 8 is next Saturday. 2 division leaders, Los Angeles and Baltimore, on action. The LA Lycans face the Atlanta Swarm, and the Vultures host rival Carolina in the Battle of the Birds. Bonus coverage includes Fort Worth hosting Vegas and St. Louis against Mexico City. Coverage starts at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on the SFL on For the Fans and Next Level Sports. Football season is only just beginning. One of the SFL storylines that I find most interesting this season is the resurgence of the St. Louis Gladiators. Down and out for what seems like their entirety of existence. They went on a playoff season run as Moses gets up the middle, uses his speed, and gets almost up to midfield, up to 127 yards. Nice game by Moses. A little bit under the radar despite having that big touchdown run in the second quarter.
Yeah, this is what the Scorpions need to do right now. They can be aggressive running the ball too. I think that maybe line up in some more formations are going to keep the Toros guessing. But man, DJ Moses is going to be Ashley Jackson's best friend here with about 6.5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Moses again, this time doesn't get as much. But to finish my point about St. Louis, if you had asked the entirety of SFL Nation in our Discord, there's about over 500 people in there now, which team do you think they'd be a dark horse this season? Before the season began, I don't think you'd find 30, 40 people that would have said St. Louis. I don't think even St. Louis would have thought St. Louis. But they have put it together with an impressive rookie squad. Here's the fullback for Arizona, Nick Rockford. Remember, he caught the opening touchdown pass of the game for Arizona back in the first.
To touch on St. Louis really quickly, Michael, this is a great team they've got there, playing excellent defense, which defense can take you awfully far in the SFL. Gladiators are capitalizing. They're having a great season.
Colin Douglas was the first half player of the season on an article on our website released this morning. You can find that and many more at simulationfl.net. We're approaching 5 minutes to go, and it's 4th down for Arizona. So Fort Worth, down 7, has a chance to get back in this game and tie it up. Punt on the way from Brian Clouds. It's a fair catch at the 13-yard line, so this will match the deepest starting field position that Fort Worth has had to work with in this ball game. They're going to have to go most of the length of the field to get it done.
They're going to have to rely on Cameron Curtis here. Second-year player in the SFL, first as a quarterback for the Toros. Had a great game last week throwing the ball, very capable. Going to be resting this game on his shoulders here, making the right decisions with the ball.
That might not have been the right decision. There's only a 1-yard gain for Jason Williams on that pass into the flat. Arizona sitting their linebackers well off the line. Curtis floats it over the middle, and it's caught at the 32-yard line. Cade Stevens moves the chains for Fort Worth.
Yeah, Cade Stevens just finds the soft spot in this zone, kind of in between the cornerback and the safety there. Just makes a great grab when they needed to have one. Sets a first down here. Toros are in motion a little bit. Still got plenty of clock, all their timeouts. It's going to get interesting here, I believe.
Very interesting indeed. Sidearm throw to the far side, out of bounds, intended for, I think that was Cade Stevens again on the far side, but it's 2nd and 10.
Steven Hacker on the outside, definitely someone Cameron Curtis is looking to when he drops back. But again, his target of the day has been Robert Garrett Jr., approaching 100 yards. And that awesome touchdown on that last drive. Just be looking for the cowboy in the middle of the field if nothing's open downfield.
Here's Williams up the middle, dragged down by Mark Mello, 3rd and 5. And you got to imagine at this point of the game, everywhere is 4-down territory for Fort Worth. High snap, and Curtis finds the receiver open. First down for Fort Worth. There's Lauren Percoco. She's been pretty quiet in the second half, but makes a big catch on 3rd down there to move the chains.
A great catch there by the doctor, Lauren Percoco. 5 receptions on the day for her. That second tight end spot for 34 yards. Big play to convert on that down.
Clock under 3.5 to go. Jason Williams wrapped up and dropped on the outside.
Error for Everett Garrison coming in on the tackle from the cornerback spot on that one. Great run support.
They're going to run it with Williams again. Not much space on the left-hand side as well. 3rd and 5. Up tempo we go. But is this a formation that Fort Worth like enough to stay in? Curtis, he got hammered as he let go of the football, and it's 4th down. Big play by Alex Constantine. Where did he come from? Haven't called his name all night, and he makes the biggest play of the game potentially for Arizona.
This pressure by the defensive line here, just 4 down linemen putting the pressure on Cameron Curtis and Alex Constantine, the defensive tackle out of Washington, D.C., able to make the play there, force the punt by Fort Worth. Great play by Alex Constantine.
And they're going to force the punt by Einhorn. Fort Worth going to trust their defense to get the ball back with 2:53 to go. 3 timeouts for the Toros, plus the 2-minute warning. But a long enough drive here by Arizona can salt the rest of this clock away.
Yeah, this is a tricky situation here. Play calling on this drive at this moment, with just under 3 minutes to go. Ashley's thrown 2 interceptions. Got to be careful with the ball here, but you know the Toros are going to be teeing off on DJ Moses.
Well, he pushes the pile forward for 6 yards. J.L. Browning got through to make that tackle. I expect a heavy dose of DJ Moses here down the stretch.
Yeah, I think you've got to do it here. We haven't mentioned Sean Crooked, EJ DeQ on the offensive line here, these tackles. Strap up your chin straps, boys. Clear a path for DJ Moses. All he needs is just a few inches of daylight. Just pick up a couple first downs and win this game for the Scorpions.
This will be the last play before the 2-minute warning. Full house package for Arizona. Handoff Moses, skates by 1 and falls forward for a first down out past the 30. Another fresh set of downs for Arizona, and we will take our final break of the ball game when we come back. The final 2 minutes from Fatality Field in Phoenix. Stay with us. Arizona trying to get what would be their biggest win of the season so far. If they can upset Fort Worth, they're up 7. 2 minutes to go, a fresh set of downs at their own 30. And it's been the DJ Moses show on this drive, and nobody else has touched the ball, and Fort Worth calls their first timeout.
Big hit by Nacho Sicario. Saves potentially another first down there for the Toros. Able to call a timeout. So there's still some life here for Fort Worth.
And on every hit, you've got to be thinking that the Fort Worth defenders are going to try and punch that ball out. Moses crushed in the backfield. Look out. Here comes Aiden Davis on the cornerback blitz. 3rd and 11.
Aiden Davis came right up to the line of scrimmage on that one. The Toros weren't even disguising what they were going to do. He was zeroing in on DJ Moses. Unblocked, comes right off the side, sets him down for the loss. Fort Worth able to call another timeout.
He almost hit Moses before he took the ball from Ashley Jackson's hands. That's how unblocked he was.
Sets up a very interesting 3rd and 11 here. Will they throw the ball, or will they just try and force Fort Worth to use that last timeout with a run?
They're in a passing formation. Jackson going long down the left-hand sideline, and it's tipped away from James Hands, who was running free. Aiden Davis with 2 huge plays back-to-back to give Fort Worth a shot at tying this game.
Huge plays by the cornerback there, Aiden Davis. Back-to-back, just like you said, Michael. Wow, without those 2 plays there, Arizona might be able to run this clock out. As it stands, Toros are going to get the ball back here with still 1 timeout left. Almost a full minute and 50 seconds.
Sands on to punt. Or excuse me, Clouds on to punt. From the 15-yard line. It's high in the air, fielded by Vincent. It'll take it back to the 41-yard line. 59 yards to pay dirt in a minute 43 and 1 timeout. Can the Fort Worth Toros get it done? They were adrift in this game. Listless, couldn't get anything done on offense. Then one big strike to Robert Garrett Jr. got them back in it. Can they finish the comeback? Curtis under center. 242 yards on through the air for him so far. He's got plenty of time, and he almost throws a pick in the flat as it just has ended up being batted away by Tropicana.
Wow. Joey Tropicana almost ended that game for the Scorpions right there. Great play on the ball, but that was a dangerous pass there by Cameron Curtis.
I think you got to go downfield every play now if you're Fort Worth. You can't afford to play small ball. Curtis with receivers running long. He floats it into the hands of Stephen Hacker, and Stephen breaks a tackle and gets inside the 30 and down to the 25. Fort Worth calls their final timeout with a minute 30 to go.
That's a massive play there. Cornerback Everett Garrison bites right here, tries to go for the pick, and that ball just over his outstretched hands right to Stephen Hacker, and he makes a play down the sideline, tackled there by Eddie Gage. And, man, Toros are in business here with a minute 30 to go.
From the 25-yard line. Fort Worth has no timeouts. Probably going to go to the sidelines a bunch here. Cameron Curtis flips it to Garrett Jr. Turns upfield, shakes off one tackle and gets 11 yards to the 14-yard line. Talk about making something out of nothing right there by the Cowboy.
Yeah, that's a great play. He's been the steady rock here for Cameron Curtis all game long. 10 receptions, over 100 yards now for Robert Garrett Jr. That big touchdown earlier in this fourth quarter. They could be looking to him again here. He's been the difference maker today. Go back to the Cowboy right now if you're the Toros.
Into the red zone for Fort Worth. They're going to hand it off to Williams, and that's been the wrong option all day as Arizona's got him bottled up. Only 40 yards, now 39 yards as he's lost one on play on 17 carries for Jason Williams.
Yeah, there's just no time left for this clock run, and you just got to abandon that thought of running the ball here. You just got to be looking for something in the air towards the end zone.
And they're in I formation on 2nd and 11. They're going to hand it off to Williams again. He gains yardage, but it's not enough. We're now down to under a minute to go.
Got to be looking for Stephen Hacker here on the outside.
Stepping up, trying to scramble and getting taken down is Cameron Curtis. 4th and 7, 4th and ball game here with 30 seconds to go and no timeouts. Here's Curtis. He slings it, and it's caught by Hacker, but he's short of the first down line to gain, and Arizona hangs on, and they're gonna upset Fort Worth at home in Phoenix.
Game on the line. The Toros, some questionable formations here, but they're going to their captains here on this drive. Robert Garrett Jr. looking for Stephen Hacker here, is able to make the play on the sidelines, but it's just not enough. So the momentum carries him out of the bounds, and the Arizona Scorpions defense holds.
All it needs is one handoff. DJ Moses makes a spin move, and he gets all the way out to the 24-yard line, but that is it. It is over. They don't need to snap the ball again in Arizona. They survive a late barrage from Fort Worth, and they will get their, I think, 3rd win in a row. Indeed, they beat Las Vegas, they beat Portland, and now they beat Fort Worth. 3 in a row for Arizona. They're over 500. They're making a charge at the playoffs. Fort Worth loses their first game since week 1 as they fall to the Scorpions 20-13. Oh boy, it's post-game time. Benji Matson, give it to me. We had an exciting game down the stretch here today.
Absolutely thrilling game for sure. And I think that the Scorpions are just a team that are going to be proving to be dangerous the rest of the season. Captain Eddie Gage is going to have the squad ready to play. And sure enough, in this game here today, their defense and offense proved to be too much for the Toros. Just a well-called game, well-executed game by the Scorpions. Here we see an interception by Eddie Gage himself. And I think there's not much else to say here except the Arizona Scorpions played a heck of a game today and really took it to the Toros in a fashion we have not seen yet this season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there should be a player of the game. I think there should be a squad of the game. And it's the secondary of Arizona who gave little to no room for anybody. Who's right there is the Robert Garrett Jr. touchdown.
Yeah, it just seemed like that Fort Worth, we knew they were a great defensive team, but on offense, they've been able to be so explosive at times this season, and they just couldn't get anything really sequenced up, I guess, or couldn't get anything rolling. I think that's just a testament to the Scorpions defense today in all facets. We did see Robert Garrett Jr. have a fantastic game for the Toros today, but outside of Robert Garrett Jr., it just did seem so sluggish, was the term we used earlier in the game, Michael. And I think, again, it's just the Toros ran up against a really great defense today in the Scorpions.
Eddie Gage had his boys and girls fighting hard all the way. Your player of the game, giving it to DJ Moses, 154 yards and a big 66-yard touchdown. We now send it out to post-game or to bonus coverage of Sioux Falls and London. Sioux Falls has a 1-point advantage over the Knights deep in the 4th quarter. Here with the call is Andy Hamilton and Josh Zirkle. Take it away, gentlemen.
Down on a game-winning drive here with 1:13 left to go, 2 timeouts. McLean floats across the middle, tipped up. Oh, there was one of the dangerous ones you want to avoid.
And we've been talking about Julian Tyree and his reluctance to throw the ball down the field. We've not seen that from Angus McLean either. And McLean now making his effort over the middle, and he's very fortunate that was not picked off.
We welcome those of you who watched Arizona defeat Fort Worth 20-13. This is Queensway in London, England. An amazing game that through 4 quarters was 10-0. The London Knights on top. Sioux Falls shocked them just moments ago with a deep touchdown to take a 14-13 lead. And now the London Knights are trying to fight their way back into it. They will definitely be in 4-down territory, do have 1 timeout, and now face a 3rd and 5. For Josh Zirkle, I'm Andy Hamilton, and we want to welcome you into quite the battle.
And if you are just joining us, you missed London trying to draw Sioux Falls offside with the hard count and then called the timeout. And that timeout missing now is going to come back to haunt London as they try and take back the lead.
McLean fires on the corner, and it's incomplete. Deflected, was trying to hit Kalia. 4th and 5, got to have the 30-yard line.
Absolutely. It is do or die for all the nice things that we've said about Angus McLean so far. He's got to make one more throw to keep his team in this. Does not have to drive the length of the field, but he does have to convert this 4th down.
Bunch to the bottom of the screen, 1 receiver to the top. Their leading receiver of the day, Robert Merrill, with 8 grabs, is in the backfield at halfback. 4-2 look out of Sioux Falls. McLean on a deep 5-step drop, fires to this near side, caught and out of bounds. What a great play by Saren Storm there to move the chains and stop the clock.
And Saren Storm, probably the most reliable piece of this passing game. Robert Merrill excluded. Makes a nice run on the out route. Great catch. Manages to get out of bounds and stop the clock. Fine piece of receiving there by the 3rd-year pro, Soren Storm.
London does have a star kicker, Jack Lewis, hit from 46 today, is 2 for 2, so they need to get to the Sioux Falls 30 to have a shot at the field goal attempt. Do have the 1 timeout and 55 seconds to work with. Trips tight, man from Sioux Falls. Here's the throw across the middle. That is complete to Storm again, and now they're going to go hurry up.
This would not be a bad time to take a shot down the field. 2nd and inches. You still have 3rd and inches and even 4th.
McLean, deep drop, going to take that shot right down the middle, and he pays the price. Wrong decision for Angus McLean, and the interception from Jay Ringgold nearly seals the deal that the Sparrows will walk into London and steal a victory.
Last week, Jay Ringgold had an interception in the end zone that basically kept Sioux Falls in their game against Florida last week. And today he makes an interception that might very well ice the game for Sioux Falls in London.
The Sparrows had no points with 3 minutes to go in the 4th. They scored twice on 2 deep shots against a London defense that was prepared mostly to defend the run, a goal line defense that Sioux Falls exploits. The veteran quarterback, Julian Tyree, has had, and we're just going to be fair here, Josh, an abysmal day outside of those 2 throws. He is 11 for 29, 37% completion percentage, 3 interceptions to only the 2 scores, a QBR of 45, but the Sparrows are in victory formation, and they're going to win this game.
And that QBR wasn't single digits for most of the game. So give credit to Julian Tyree for making recognition and making big throws when it mattered. 2 touchdowns, probably the 2 of the best throws of the game. It may have only been the 2 completions that he had downfield. Quite frankly, the way they ran this offense, it's even more impressive that Tyree was able to come up with those big throws at that point in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Veteran class to stay poised after throwing 3 picks. He only had 11 completions. You take away the 2 scores, that's 9 completions that weren't touchdowns. An incredible day from Sioux Falls to stay with the London Knights and strike when they needed to. We talked about how little they were throwing down the field the whole game, and then they just got it done when they needed to defeat and really steal a victory from the London Knights.
Stolen, absolutely. This is grand larceny. You look at the way London played as we're watching the interception by Brandon Ewing here. London, maybe they weren't dominant, but they were getting the job done by running, by passing, stopping the run. They had Colin Hart corralled for most of this game, Charlemagne Cornelius as well. But as you said, Andy, when you let a team hang around, with just a 2-score differential, you leave opportunities like this to happen. That interception by Terrell Davis, after getting toasted just a play earlier, was absolutely huge. And then here it is, Julian Tyree right on the money, and Gunnar Lewis will take that one to the house. And that's when you knew that Sioux Falls was done messing around. And tasteful end zone celebrations notwithstanding, Sioux Falls got a way to get it done tonight. And my heart bleeds for London, who played well and had the lead for most of this game, to give it up to Sioux Falls for getting it done when it counts.
The Sparrows now have won 2 in a row. They beat Florida last week 24-16. They beat London today 14-13 to improve, to 2-5. The London Knights fall to 3-4. Really, just the 3 minutes at the end of this game was the difference. If you tuned in and missed the full first 3 quarters, you're going to want to scroll back Simulationfl on YouTube to watch those and make sure you get the full picture for just how quickly Sioux Falls was able to strike. They have always been a good team. This year struggling a bit, but 2 wins in a row. And Gunnar Lewis, player of the game with 2 catches, one of them for the touchdown that helped Sioux Falls win the game. It was an incredible back and forth contest between the 2 defenses. Well, for Josh Zirkle, I'm Andy Hamilton. We're going to take a short break and be right back with the SFL post-game show. You've been watching the Simulation Football League. Stay with us.
And welcome to the SFL's post-game update. Along with Mike St. Green, I am Cameron Irvine, and that was some finish from London. Let's break it down. London's up 10-0 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Julie, we did a report, Mike. Excuse me, I'm hoarse. Did a report that Julian Tyree was 4 for 11 for 6 yards and 3 interceptions at that time. Sioux Falls wins the game. They win the game 14-13. They scored 14 points in the last 4 minutes. London got caught without some dime coverages. It burned them in the end. But Mike, their offense had all kinds of time to pull away in this game and couldn't do it.
Yeah, Cam, London absolutely stole defeat from the hands of victory right here. They allowed Sioux Falls to hang around, missed opportunities inside the red zone, a couple of turnovers, that kept Sioux Falls around, as we highlighted. And then before you know it, a couple of big plays, and Sioux Falls wins the game.
Just incredible. I'm trying to grand larceny is what Josh Zirkle called it. Sioux Falls wins their second in a row. How about Fort Worth, the second team this weekend on national television inside the 10 that loses the game, coming up short on a fourth down, 20-13. Arizona gets the win. They're now 4-3, just 2 games back to Denver if you don't count their loss in that tiebreaker. Fort Worth falls to 5-2. Mexico City now hot on their heels. Things are getting really interesting.
Yeah, Fort Worth struggled off defensively rather in his first half, allowing 17 points to Arizona. DJ Moses had a big first half and had a big game as well, 154 yards rushing total and a touchdown. But in the second half, this defense tightened up to what we expected to see from them and only gave up 3 points, but they fell short, as you saw right there in the end.
Here's what's coming up next. As if we can take any more of the drama. Baltimore takes on Atlanta. Carolina faces Queen City. The last time Baltimore and Atlanta played each other, me and Rich Pratchard had the call. Dynasty had the hair flip, and the rest is history, and a star was born in the SFL. What are we going to see today?
Yeah, that was a great game to start the career of Bryant Dynasty last season. And we're also looking at the past 2 SFL champions going against one another here. Baltimore coming off a big win last week against Vancouver. T-Roy Gain had a big game. Look for him to continue that. And Atlanta, of course, they want to have a balanced attack with BDG Hollywood leading the way. So look for Atlanta to get BDG involved and get him out in the flats. And Baltimore is going to look to keep T-Roy Gaines involved and see if they can get that offense going as well.
Carolina takes on Queen City. The Skyhawks have not beaten the Corsairs in Buffalo in 4 years. Can they get it done today? They're the favorites.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle for Carolina up there in Queen City. We know that's always a tough opponent. They're going to ride high on the back of Jet Zero, and Carolina's definitely going to be looking to get Logan Jack involved. We'll see if it can turn out into a victory.
It all starts after this commercial break. Kickoff in about 4 minutes' time from the Hive in Atlanta. Mike Daggs and Matt Wilson have the call for Mike St. Green. I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been your SFL postgame update, and we'll get you back out to more action of the SFL in a moment.
11 Sports and For the Fans welcomes you to the following presentation of the Simulation Football League.
Muted. Welcome, everybody, to the birthplace of Coca-Cola, the capital of Georgia. We're live from Atlanta, Georgia at the Hive as the Atlanta Swarm hosts the Baltimore Vultures. Good evening, everyone. I am Mike Daggs, and alongside me in the booth is the Hall of Famer Matt Wilson. On stats is the Bayou Airboat captain himself, Gerald Smith. Our producer is SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine. You're watching the Simulation Football League on For the Fans. Matt, how you doing tonight?
Mike, I'm newly implanted and ready to go.
That's excellent.